Hello, my name is Phil Jones from Rotowash, and I'm here today to show you how to assemble your new M20S Rotowash machine and how to use it correctly. So when you buy an M20S, the machine will come in just the one box. You may have a second box for a rotor cot and maybe a third box for a spare set of brushes, colour-coded brushes and so on. So first of all, we'll take the machine out of the box. So just lift it out, put it to one side. You have the tank and the handle. So just put those all to one side. So first of all, we have the stick handle. So simply fit that together. You have a little button there. You have a hole just here. Just connect it, press the button in, get the click. You have the front of the machine with the red tube, front handle with the red button. Take the cross member out. Here, the cotter pin, attach, and then feed this back through the hole, which is going to secure the handle to the base of the machine. The black tank. So the black tank has this here and a crucifix here. That crucifix sits just there. So fit it into situ, push it home, make sure it clicks in nicely into place at the bottom of the tank and also at the top. So just make sure that it is nice and secure on there. In the back of the tray, you have some instructions and the valve. So this here you put through the end here with the thread, pop it into place, tighten it up, and the valve goes into the valve just here. So there's a bit of a triangle there, and the flat end of the triangle sits to the bottom of the black tank, and just push it in until it clicks. The clear tube goes into the red tube coming up, and just push it down as far down as it will possibly go. We have the cable, so just undo that. Like so. There's a cable tidy. Bring the cable up, form a loop, insert it into the gap at the bottom of the cable tidy, lap it over the loop, pull, make sure it's nice and secure, and that just keeps it in place. And then the loose cable there can be just attached to here. Put that in place, like so. Two clips, one at the top, one at the bottom. Wrap it up. This keeps the cable nice and tidy, as opposed to just lying around on the floor, getting kinked and damaged. And there we are. So one M20S, all ready to go. Rotor cart. This is for transporting this small machine around your site. Just fit it together. Little catch there. Press it in. Make sure it's nice and secure. Same on the other side. Press. Cable side here of the machine, always the opposite side to the cable. Just lift the one end of the machine up slightly, which is exposing the casters underneath the machine, and then this bar here on the bottom of the rotor cart just sits the other side of those casters, like so. You have the gap, you have the frame, lift it up, click it into place, put your foot behind, and away you go. So now the machine is quite easy to move around your site, whether it be up flights of stairs, from one building to another, up and down the curbs, and so on. When you put the machine down, instead of just allowing the handle to drop down and possibly damage the end of the machine, just put your foot against the back of the machine, lower it gently, and there we have it. So it's parked wherever you're going to store it. To remove the rotor cart, you have a disc. Pull that disc out, lift up. Quite straightforward. If, however, you don't have a rotor cart and you need to move the machine from one place to another, grab the handle, lift the handle up, and if you watch this area here, lift the handle up, don't allow it to drop back down. As you bring the handle back towards you, keep pulling up to the ceiling. Don't allow the forks to drop, and then the casters will stay down and the brushes will stay up. And then you can move it from one place to another quite easily. When you bring the handle up, you'll find that the handle just drops down, and that's its parked position. And without the rotor cart, that's how you would store the machine in your store cupboard or whatever. So the mechanics to the machine, you have the water tank here, lift the flap, water goes into here. You have a red button at the top, that releases the water. The water is released from this valve here, down the clear tube, down the red tube, onto the front brush. As the brushes start to rotate, the water that's on the brush will then be deposited onto the floor, and as you go forward over the wet floor, the machine will start to scrub. As you bring the machine back over exactly the same area, the machine will finish its scrub and pick the water back up again. To start the machine, you have on the left hand side a metal block. That metal block prevents the handle from falling back. So it's a little safety device so that if you're walking past the machine's plugged in, it's not going to drop down to the floor. So to start the machine, you need to lift this leg over that block. So you just rock it. Don't lift the machine, just rock the handle, bring it back. You hear the click, that turns the machine on, turns the machine off. As you lower the handle, you'll see the base of the machine drop to the floor. And now the brushes sit on the floor, the casters are up into the base of the machine, and the full weight of the machine is now resting on the brushes. And that's why this little machine will give a powerful punch when it's cleaning hard floors or carpets. Bring the handle back up, that turns the machine off, and it also brings the machine back up into its parked position. So the brushes aren't no longer resting on the floor and preventing the floors having a D shape with the weight of the machine on those bristles in the parked position. Other things on the machine, you have an Opc switch, which is here. So the Opc switch is a safety device that's fitted to all Rotowash machines, and it's to prevent the machine from running away from the operator if the handle is accidentally dropped. So if the operator is in this position, they're working, and for some reason they lose control of the handle will drop down and the Opc switch will shoot up and it will kill the machine dead. So it will automatically shut the machine down. To reset, bring the handle into the parked position, and just pull the OPC switch up, and that will reset the OPC switch. On the right hand side you have a dial. This is a height control knob for the brushes, so depending on what type of floor you're cleaning, you can apply maximum pressure, minimum pressure, or halfway between the two. On the dial you have a series of weights, heavy weight and a light weight, and you just choose whichever setting is appropriate for the floor. As a guide, hard floor needs maximum pressure. Industrial type of carpets can get away with maximum pressure as well, but may need to just drift to the halfway point. Certainly long piled carpet and maybe Flotex, the old Flotex carpets, will need a little bit less friction on the floor, so that would be a minimum setting. So one M20S. You have here on the handle a brush guide, and this will tell you how much life you have left in the brushes. So on there you will see that there is an orange and black line. When you insert this into the brushes, you will see that if you see just black, you're okay. If you start to see orange on the brushes, that means it's time to start looking at a new set of brushes and put those on order from Rotowash, and that could be ordered at cleanfloors@rotowash.com. So that's the brush wear indicator. So once you finish using the machine, like all cleaning equipment, it needs to be cleaned down. Whether that be the most expensive, sophisticated floor cleaning machine in the world, or a mop and bucket. If you're using a mop and bucket on your floors, you finish using the mop and bucket, you take it to your cleaning cupboard, you empty it out, you swill it out, you rinse it, you clean your mop, you rinse the mop, you hang it up to dry, and so it's all ready for the following day. You wouldn't leave that dirty mop in that dirty water for cleaning tomorrow. You would make sure it's nice and tidy. Cleaning machines, exactly the same. So you take the machine to your cleaning cupboard, you have ideally a nice Belfast type, Butler type sink. Take the dirty water tank, the water tray out from the rear. You empty, lift the flap, rinse it out underneath the tap, clean the underside, remove the debris that's been built up there, probably hair, fluff and so on. Caution. Caution relates to this blade. The blade can be quite sharp, even on a brand new machine. So if you start cleaning like that, you're going to do damage. So that way, never across the blade. In between the springs on the base, you will always get debris there because that's being fetched off the floor surface itself, and you'll need to get that debris away and remove that debris. Even whilst you're doing a clean, you will get that build up and you will need to look at that periodically. Rotate the brush backwards, the blue drum rolls down, wipe off, nice and easy. Push, there's a spindle that goes through that holds the brush. Just push the spindle, one end, pull it out the other. Comes out really easily. Take the brush out, brush comes out, take the brush to the tap, allow the hot water to hit the brush, rotate, clean water comes out the bottom, rotate until clean water comes out the bottom. Leave the brush to soak, leave the brush to dry in a bucket near to where you're storing the machine. Where the machine's going to get dirty is on the sides of the machines here and here, underneath the feet, on the bar. Wherever you see any dirt, you just wipe it clear. Front of the machine, remove the hose, lift the tray, clean, clean. The little holes, this is where the water is distributed onto the front brush. Make sure those holes are nice and clear. Put it to one side. Push and pull. Underneath the hot water, clean water. Underneath the hot water until clean water. Into a bucket to drain. Clean, 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 clean. Just with a microfiber cloth or a rag of some sort. If you're worried about where you've just cleaned, these machines, this particular size machines, ideal for toilets. Getting into those small, inaccessible areas that larger machines can't get into. So you're probably cleaning some dodgy stuff off the floor. So you're worried about what's on the machine, you give it a good clean, you get a sanitizer spray, spray the machine down. And that's how the machine should be found the following day when you come to use the machine. If the brushes are still in the machine, there's a good chance that the last person that used the machine didn't clean the machine down. So take the brushes out, clean it out, and make sure it's nice and ready for you to clean that particular day. And then have a word with your supervisor and ask, why wasn't this machine cleaned down the last time it was used? If the brushes are where they are, then you know and you can see that the machine has been cleaned properly. You take the brush, you have a brush guide here and here. Brush goes underneath the bar, onto the brush guide, like so. And then the brush, the spindle, goes in this side of the machine, the side that you have the cable and the knob. If you try to put the spindle in the other side, you will achieve it eventually, but it does take quite a while. So always go from this side, and you just need to line up the hexagonal shape of the bar with the hexagonal shape of the hole, the hole, the hole, and the hole. So as you push, just rotate the bar. So push, rotate, line the brush up a little bit, push, rotate the brush, push the bar at the same time. Front of the machine, you have the front tray, which has the slots and the pegs. That sits in the front. The clear tube goes into the red tube as far down as possible. Rear of the machine, brush, underneath the bar, onto the brush guides. Cable side, rotate and push, rotate, blade underneath the springs, push it home. It's ready to go. So we'll just put a little bit of water in, just fire it up, make sure it's okay. So, water in the tank. Okay, it's recommended that you only put half a tank in. If you fill it right to the top, the tank gets very heavy. And as I showed you right at the beginning, the tank is attached to this pole by pressure points. So if there's a lot of water in there, there's a good chance that if you hit something, go over a carpet gripper as you move from one room to another, that may jolt this tank off the machine. So only fill with half a tank of water in there. Warm water is cool, cold to warm is good, warm to hot is not so good. Again, if you're putting really hot water into the tank, that's going to soften up the plastic, and again the pressure grips may loosen up a little bit. So just cold water up to warm water, it will be fine. So cable, you got the top one, which is a quick release. No, it's the bottom one, which is a quick release. Take it off, plug it in. So as you start thinking about plugging it in, just make sure that you check the cable. Make sure that there's no kinks or there's no cuts or anything like that. There's no damage to the cable. Obviously, if the cable is damaged, that needs to be reported to your supervisor, and then possibly contact Rotowash, and we can get an engineer out to actually have a look at that for you. So, plugged in. Front and back to the machine. Front of the machine always has the tank at the front, always has the red button at the front there. So transport, if you remember, you lift the handle up, don't allow it to drop back down, bring it back, so you can move it to wherever you want to use the machine. The button at the top releases the water. So as I press that button, you'll see the water coming through the hose and then onto the floor. There's going to be a little bit of water onto the floor. Bring it up, the handle will drop down into its parked position. Cable is in your left hand, so you're in control of the handle, the cable I should say. Always hold the cable, don't allow it to drop. Sooner or later you're going to go over that cable. So always hold the cable in your left hand. Rock the handle over to your right, bring it back, turns the machine on. Push the handle forward, turns the machine off. So over hard floor clean and carpet cleaning. Hard floor clean, minimum amount of water. So as you go forward, you press the button at the top of your stroke and maybe halfway up your stroke. Don't keep the button pressed all the time. If you press the button all the time on a hard floor clean, you will flood the floor. Sometimes it's necessary, you need a lot of water down, but generally speaking, you just press, release, and then don't forget to bring the machine back over the same area. Carpet cleaning, the fibres of the carpet will take in the moisture, so that will need maximum amount of water. So as you go forward, you press the button all the way as you go forward, release, bring it back to suck up. Hard floor, over to your right, bring it back, press, release, press, release, bring it back over the same area. New area, bring it back. Carpet cleaning, press the paddle all the time as you go forward, release, bring it back. Press the paddle all the time, release, bring it back. And that is the only difference really between hard floor cleaning and carpet cleaning with a rotor wash. Maximum water for carpet, minimum water for hard floors. As you can see, I flooded the floor. So I want to take the water up. I'm not putting any more water down. I'm just going over to suck the water back into the dirty water tray at the back. I need to stop the machine. I lift the handle up and it stops. If I'm working and I get distracted, the cable's on the floor, I go over the cable, immediately lift the handle up, unplug, release the cable, check, make sure there's nothing wrong with the cable, everything's fine, you press it back in, plug it back in, hold the cable over to your right, bring it back. The Opc switch on the side there, so you're working away, you drop the handle drops down, cuts out. Lift the handle back up again, into the upright position, pull the Opc switch up, over, back, and away we go. Very often this machine is used in the, as I said earlier, the restricted areas such as toilets, showers and places like that, but also it's very, very handy as a spot clean, particularly on carpets in care homes, for example. So there's quite a large stain on the carpet. You don't want to go and get your large Rotowash machine out of the cupboard. This one's really handy and tidy, just to do that small area. If you're thinking about doing the corridor with this machine, it's the wrong machine. So it's for spot cleaning only, really, for carpets. Easiest way to get rid of a really strong stain is, there's the stain in front of you, take the clear tube out, press the button, put more water down onto the stain. That's going to flood the stain. By the time you put the tube back in, got back to the back of the machine, the crustiness of the stain has reduced, it's nice and soft and malleable, and then just ensure that both brushes go over that stain, different directions. So forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. So that's going to get rid of your tea stains, your coffee stains, your lactulose, your medication, everything. If it doesn't remove that stain, then you have to start thinking, is it a stain or a damaged carpet? Rotowash machines are very, very effective on carpets. It cleans the base of the carpet, not just the top. It doesn't bounce along the top, it cleans the base, which is the important thing. And get rid of that debris from the base of the carpet, such as hair, fluff, dead skin, where the odour lives. That's what the machine is going to do. Thank you for your time.